Hello, everybody. It's Ina Bautista, your mindset and empowerment, confidence and empowerment coach. I'm just going to check if I am live to make sure that everything is going well. If you're here with me, say hi. I will be checking out my phone to make sure that I don't miss any comments. Okay. Yes, I am live. So, my darlings, I'm so happy to be live today and to start this new adventure, a new project for me. So, as you can see from the title, I hope so. Oh yeah, you can't see the title. The first episode of Thrive After Trauma is live. So this is the first episode. And I'm so excited about this because it's been something I wanted to do something about the trauma and helping women, helping people heal from traumatic events. And it has been on my mind for a very, very long time. I haven't done anything about it yet until now. And I got an inspiration, I think it was about a month ago. Just a second. So I think it was about a month ago that I got an inspiration for this. I had a little nudge and I was thinking to myself, should I start this or not? And then I decided just to go for it. I know that there are similar things out there that cover healing after trauma. And for me, my big vision for this project and for this TV is to shed some light what trauma is to offer hope to those who are suffering through trauma yet, and those who feel that perhaps they have healed partially, but they still have some remainings or remnants of that trauma that prevents them from living their lives fully, to the fullest, of course, and to experience success, happiness, and this is my big vision for this. And I want to show why I want to run it this way is because I want to reach as many people as possible. And before we continue, I want to ask you to share this live video with someone who might have experienced trauma in the past, or who is going through some really difficult times. Share it with them, because I want this to reach as many people as possible. This is why I'm doing it for free on my Facebook page. I'm not asking for any signups, because I want to reach as many women, as many people as possible, and offer hope, offer guidance, offer inspiration. And I want to show that it's possible not only survive trauma, but also to thrive, to have a really successful, happy, fulfilling life that you can actually love and not be a prisoner to your past. Because from my own experiences, for a long time, and I will share a bit about my experiences, for a long time after my traumatic events that I have experienced, I have felt that there was a lot of guilt and shame involved. And I felt like I did not deserve happiness, that I wasn't, that it's not even possible for me. I didn't think and I didn't believe that I can actually live a life that doesn't have this like huge shadow over me. And after I got rid of that, of those feelings, and a majority of that was cleared up this year after my NLP training during the timeline therapy sessions, I have felt completely different. There was this, and one of the ladies who attended the course with me said, is like experiencing that is as if you took off a backpack full of rocks off your back that you weren't even aware that you were wearing, you know? And that's how it felt for me. I had felt such huge relief. And it, up to that point, my trauma, the trauma that I have experienced, felt like something felt huge. It felt like uh, I will always be a prisoner to it. It felt there were so many emotions. It felt very emotionally charged. And after the NLP training and timeline therapy, it became just one of the events in my life. And it wasn't anymore, it didn't have such a huge emotional charge on me. It wasn't so over, it wasn't so strong. It just became one event, one of the events in my life, but it wasn't so significant. And for the first time ever, after after going through NLP and timeline therapy, for the first time in my life, I could talk about certain experiences without bursting into tears, without getting all choked up and having like a huge stone in my throat when I talk about this. And for me, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to start running this channel and to talk about these experiences. My big vision for this is to bring different therapists, coaches, people who work, healers who work with different modalities, with different techniques, and showcase their work, showcase their experiences, and show those who have experienced trauma, no matter what kind of it is, that you can actually thrive. Because sometimes, and I know that for a lot of us who have experienced this and those who are going through it, sometimes it can feel really, really lonely, like nobody understands you, like you're the only one who went through that experience, and that there is no way out. It can feel really isolating. There's usually a lot of feelings of guilt and shame and anger and sadness and feeling absolutely lost involved in there. And I want to show you that by featuring these people who have gone through different experiences and came on the other end, and are thriving after those experiences, that it is possible to thrive. And this is mainly for your conscious and subconscious mind to convince you, to showcase you that it is possible. And I want to ask you to keep an open mind for yourself, because this is what I have noticed. One of the reasons why I was able to let go of my trauma earlier this year was when I came to that training, I told myself, I am ready to let this go. I am ready to heal. And for a long time, I associated my trauma with my identity. And it became a part of my identity. And I thought, oh, I will always be this. I will always, be this trauma and blah, 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 and that victim mentality. And I was heavily in victim mentality. Not saying that you are, but what I want to say is that I want you to keep an open mind and open up your heart to potential healing. And this is why I want to talk about these things. I want to show you that there is a different way of living and thriving and surviving after trauma, that you can, it's beyond surviving. And you can have anything that you want, and you can get rid of those shackles of the past. Just open yourself up, open up your heart, and allow that healing to come. And this is the first step. I honestly tell you, the first step to healing is to be ready to heal. Be ready to let go of it. So, in the next couple of months, this is how I envision this. In the next couple of months, I will be featuring different therapists and coaches who use different techniques, different modalities with their clients to help them recover from trauma and overcome it and heal from it. And I will feature their stories. My vision is to feature their stories just so you can have an idea of where they're coming from, what kind of experiences they've had themselves, and how they overcome those experiences, and what kind of techniques and modalities they use. Because one of the ladies that I will be interviewing, her name is Lisa, she said something very interesting recently. She said, there is no one way to heal from trauma. There are many different ways that you can heal and overcome trauma, but it's just about finding what works for us. And this is why I want to showcase what kind of other techniques, modalities are in there, how you can get better. And then I will be doing some free trainings on how to overcome trauma and heal. And I think this is very important because I want to give you the steps. No matter at which point of your journey you are, I want to give you this step and show you that, which way to go, or at least offer a potential solution. I will be also sharing my experiences and what helped me. And I think I feel the reason I want to share this with you is because I know that sometimes you need to hear it from others who have experienced it and who have gone on the other end, who came through on the other end. And I think if you've been following me for a while, you could see the transformation. You could see that how much I've changed over the past year. And I think this is just a credit to the work that I've done on myself. But I want to share my experiences, and maybe as we talk through this, maybe it will help you heal, through your own experience. And of course, in the next episode, I will be talking a little bit about what is a trauma. And I will be bringing awareness on different types of trauma. So, and I will be covering a little bit more in depth, just so if you are thinking whether you are going through this experience or not, or whether you're thinking perhaps you've been through something like that, but you're not sure. I just want to answer those questions for you that you might have in your mind to confirm or dispel those myths, dispel those beliefs. But I would love to bring a bit more awareness, because we don't always see it as a traumatic event, and it might not seem like. And someone recently told me, they said, I feel the trauma is something that happens, one like a huge event, and that's it, boom. But you don't realize that sometimes it can be a lot of little small events that happen over a long period, and then they just take a toll more and more on you. And I will be talking about some specific situations. And of course, I'd love to hear your questions about it, because I'd love to answer the questions that actually come from you. I know I've spoken to a lot of people who have gone through different experiences, and I know about this, but it's always more, how do I say, it's much more fulfilling for me if I can answer the questions that come from you, my listeners, my audience. So please send me your questions. There will be opportunities in the comments, or links. I will be putting some links, even if you want to do it anonymously, so you're not sharing it on a public platform, because I know it can be really difficult to reach out for help and talk about these experiences, because there is a lot of guilt and shame and all sorts of stuff involved in these kind of situations. And for today, I also want to talk about a little bit about my experiences of trauma and how I came to, and maybe it will become easier for you and clearer for you to see why I started this. And I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. So and I'll just list a couple of experiences and how they all relate. So for me, one of the first traumatic experiences came after my country was torn by war. And my family and me, we experienced bombings, and it was during that time we lived in Bosnia. And I was it started when I was approximately 6 years old, and it lasted up to 8 or 9, the way my memory serves me. And I remember quite a lot from that. And then after that, we moved to Croatia, and during post-war years, being someone who came from Bosnia, I was always an outsider because I wasn't one of them. There was quite a lot of bullying and isolation involved in there, and that had a huge impact on me. I was still a young kid in a primary school, and as my father experienced war, he was in the war. He experienced trauma and PTSD himself, and as a consequence, he started drinking, and that just brought a lot of even more problems to our family. My father became emotionally and physically abusive, and that lasted for over 10 years. And I was a teenager going through those issues, and when he passed away, unfortunately, it was a tragic death. I was 21, and his death and the way he died and all those 10 years of emotional abuse just gave me such a huge, it had a huge impact on me. So for a long time, I dealt with the consequences of that. And, when you go through a certain experiences and they happen when you are really young, anything else that comes on top of that just enforces those limiting beliefs, the fears, the anger, all those things that you feel about yourself. And for me, this emotional abuse throughout those years and the PTSD, post-traumatic stress of his death, that kept me really, really stuck for a very, very long time. And it had a huge impact on my relationship, on my work, my relationship with friends and my boyfriends at the time. It had an impact on my relationship with my husband because I was so insecure, huge impact on my self-confidence. And that just spilled into every part of my life. And I thought I did work on these things, and with time, it was a little bit easier to deal with that. But there was still this, whenever I would try to do, and even in the last couple of years, whenever I would try to do something with my business, I always kept feeling like I was stuck, and there was this this weight over my shoulders and like a shadow cast on everything around my life, because I didn't feel my confidence was so knocked out that whenever I would try to do something, I just kept on doubting myself and giving up on myself. And there were a couple of things that I did to help improve my confidence, but these feelings of the trauma and the shackles that I've been under didn't fully disappear until this year. And then I felt like I was really doing well. And then during childbirth, I had a really traumatic childbirth. And then my son got sick afterwards. I was alone. He was constantly crying, and now we know because he had some health issues, but at the time I didn't know, and I was under such pressure that it made me feel like I was failing, and then it just reinforced everything, that postnatal depression. It just reinforced everything from the past, all those feelings that I had growing up. It just brought it up to the surface, and it was so difficult to deal with it. And running a business during those times was really, really tough. Luckily, I asked for help. I went to therapy, and it helped me get a little bit better. But finally, I got rid of all of those negative beliefs. And this year, doing my NLP and timeline therapy training, and this is what made me so motivated and so inspired and so passionate at talking about this, because I know how much impact, how difficult it can be to live a life when you're feeling like that. And I know how life can feel after you got rid of it, after you healed from the trauma that you've experienced. And before this training that I did this year, and before I healed, I actually thought that I would never be able to fully heal. I never believed that it would be possible, and I definitely didn't feel like I deserved to heal. And sometimes I even thought, oh, maybe there was something I did that I deserve this, like it's a punishment for something. And I want to tell you, even if you're feeling like that, it's never your fault. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything to deserve this. And I absolutely know that you can heal from it. You can recover from it. And I want to show you how. I want to show you there is a way. I want to show you that there are people out there who are just like you, who are struggling and who got help, who recovered, and who are living really fulfilling lives. And I know it's possible for you. And I'd love to hear your questions if you have any. I'm going to check here. I'm going to check my live video just to see if there are any questions that I'm missing, because I'm using Zoom to go live on Facebook. Yeah, no questions so far. So tell me, wherever you're watching it, if you're watching on a replay, tell me. And you don't have to, I will be including links, so you don't have to tell anything, say anything in the comments. I want to know your experiences. I would love to know, what would you like me to cover? If there are some certain topics that you would like me to cover. Answer some questions. If you want to share your experiences, feel free. And if you think, and if you're someone who has experienced traumatic event and healed from it, found a way how to help others heal from it, get in touch, because I'm looking for people to share their stories, share what helped them, and to interview, of course, feature you, because I know it will not only help you share your message, but it will also help other people who are going through the same. And I think at the end of the day, it's our duty, not duty, but I feel a huge responsibility to share my message, to help others. And, this is the reason why I'm showing up. For a very, very long time, I was afraid to speak up about this. And there are certain experiences that I will be sharing that I haven't shared publicly. And it's a little bit uncomfortable for sure. But I know that there will be someone out there who will benefit from it. And if you have someone who has experienced it and who would benefit from listening to these videos, please share it with them, or point them in my direction. I'd be happy to help them. Of course, I am now, this is not the only thing I'm doing to help people recover and heal and thrive after trauma. I am also working as in a coaching environment. I do coach people to heal and transform their lives, and implementing the techniques that I have learned on my NLP course, using timeline therapy, and of course neuro-linguistic programming modalities to help people recover from that. So if you are ready to work on it and you would like to propel your transformation, you would like to speed up your healing process, and you don't want to listen to the free videos and you want to do something about it, please get in touch with me. I would be thrilled and honored and happy to help. This is it for me for now. In the next episode, I will be covering I will be talking about what is trauma, and I will be giving some examples of traumatic events, because we hear about these certain things that count as trauma, but sometimes certain events don't really feel like trauma, but they have such a huge impact on us. And I want to bring awareness and help you get better. Sending you lots of love. Bye-bye.